Hello everyone. Good evening and welcome again to today's live session. I am Parth Patel, a registered migration agent at 𝐬𝐧𝐼 Group Hawthorne branch, and I am also very glad to be here conducting this live Q&A session. Until we get some good number of attendees, I'll start with sharing some of the most recent and important updates in the immigration, which will be covering changes, announcements, and trends that could impact you and your friends or relatives. There has been a quite bit going on recently due to close to end of financial year, and I want to help make sense of all for you. After I go through the updates, I'll be opening the floor for live Q&A session. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments or chat box as we go, and I'll try to answer as many as I can towards the end of the session. Just a quick reminder that before we dive in, the information I'm going to share is current as of today, and I will always try to provide accurate and helpful guidance. This session is for information purposes only, and for professional legal advice about your case, you may call us to book an appointment to discuss further, as we may have limited information about your situation from the questions asked. That said, let's get started with the latest immigration news first, and what it could possibly mean to you, and then we'll go and have a Q&A session. Firstly, recently, department have clarified about visa condition 8107, which generally applied to 408 COVID visa holders and also people who are holding bridging visa A after 408 visas. So where department clarified that if you're holding this 408 visa or if you're holding a bridging visa A, you will have still options to continue working with any employers as such. So earlier there was a condition that you have to work particularly with some employers, or it could be with particular activities. However, if you're applying for some other visas, like from postgrad visa, some students have applied for student visas. In that cases, when you have a bridging visa, you will have unlimited work rights until you get the student visa granted. So department have clarified that you still have an option to change employers without notifying the government. That was the case, but then because the COVID situation has changed now, so that's where some clients were asking these questions, and department got to know about these queries, and that's why they have clarified about this. Apart from that, we have noticed that for partner visa applications, there were some delays in bridging visas, which have actually caused some people to become unlawful. That is mainly because when you applied your partner visa, for an example, at the end of, very close to your visa deadline, visa expiry, that's where in some cases bridging visas were not granted at the same time. Usually it's like bridging visa A will be granted automatically most of the time at the same time. Same time means as soon as the status changed from submitted to received status, they were granted with bridging visas. But some applications or some applicants were not granted the bridging visa at the same time, mainly because of high volumes of applications, which might have created any issue. And that's where the government mentioned that they will be actually working on the improvements, and basically applications which were lodged before their visa expiry will be granted bridging visas as soon as possible. So that is mainly for the people who are affected, should be sent bridging visa copies soon. Apart from that, department have also clarified on 407 visa applications, where as of now, department have clarified that they have received high number of applications for 407 visa, and that is also from high risk groups, specifically mentioning about long-term stayers and former 485 and 408 visa holders who could not possibly apply for a student visa. Actually, from 408 visa, you can still apply for a student visa, but 485 visa holder, if you are, then you cannot apply for student visa. And that's where they have noticed hike in number of 407 visa applications lodged. Also, they have also seen much higher number of 482 visa applications lodged. So that's where the department has actually made stricter GT checks. GT means genuine temporary entrant criteria. So many applicants have applied for 407 where they could not extend their visas through other means and to extend their stay. That's where department have specified that they will be very strict with GT criteria, which is proving that you have ties back home and you are going back home after visa expiry of your 407 visa. So if they feel that you have been here in Australia for a long period of time, then they could have refused, or that could become a good reason of refusing applications as such. And generally speaking, it happens that usually they send a notice, section 57, under section 57, notifying you that provide information to prove why your application should not have been refused, for an example, or where nominations application have refused. Then they usually send section 57 to provide a feedback on why or whether you would like to withdraw your 407 visa application, you should withdraw it or provide a comment. So based on that, they generally send section 57 notice, but department have refused straight away visa applications as well instead of sending section 57. So that's why department have also clarified that because of high number of applications they have been doing so. Apart from that, for foreign to visa applications as well, we have seen number of visa refusals are higher than earlier. Basically, you'll have to prove that position is very genuinely available in the business, and you have relevant skills to perform the task. So where you could not provide relevant skills in terms of qualification, experience, or skills assessment for some occupations, they have refused visa applications. Department have also clarified that now knowing that in 407 visa applications, knowing that once a sponsorship application get refused, then nomination applications get automatically deemed refused in a way, but then they don't send us any notification and the applicants are not given any review rights as well. So department have also clarified that they are trying to work on those aspects, whether they can offer review rights for such applications. But if you are in any situations like that, you may feel free to contact us and then we can assist how we can help you with this process. Apart from that, if you have already lodged parent visa applications, it was until now that you can only submit applications. Even now, it's the process that you can only submit applications through paper-based applications. You cannot use IMI account to submit the applications. But now, department have added a new feature where you can import the applications which have been already lodged with the department. So if your application is already with the department, you can import the application in your IMI account so you can have better status update in the system instead of a paper-based application where you have to manually email them asking for any status update or any other documentation. Apart from that, you might have also heard that the government, that is Australia's ruling party, Labour Party, said just few days back that they will increase the fees for student visa applicants from $600, which is the current fee, to $2,000. That is from 1st of July 2025. It is not finalized yet, but then the government is looking at addressing this, which was going on for some time during this election campaigns. Student visa fees has recently been increased. So I think just 1 year back, it was around $700. That from there, the government have increased the fees to $600. And then the government is again saying that they will probably increase it to $2,000. That's for primary applicants. Apart from that, recently we have also seen that Education Regulatory Authority, ESQA, they have been dealing strictly with qualifications offered to students because they have noticed that so many students were offered qualifications where they have not actually studied in the institute. So they are scrutinizing the institutes and also the qualifications provided by them. So they have actually strengthened the policies where they have notified the institutes that they will be um, cross-verifying the qualifications offered to the students within last 2 years. So they have been asked to provide accurate reports, manage and keep a record of whatever number of students they have enrolled, their assignments, their results, whatever it is, for at least 2 years of time. So basically, there will be some strengthening that as well. So in case if your qualification got cancelled by them, then if you have applied for any of your visa applications, such as a 485 visa, or it could be a permanent visa application, there is a possibility that those applications may also get refused on that grounds. And if department is again having much more stricter compliance regulations, then there is a possibility that if you achieved qualification as such and you are already granted a visa, there is a possibility that there is, and the department may also send you a notice to cancel your visa, but that may happen over the time. So these were the quick updates. Apart from that, there is some kind of information available about the planning levels for immigration program like skilled visa program, where the department is hopefully planning to increase the numbers of partner visa applications. As of now, this year, as per the planning levels for this financial year, the government was saying they will process around 40,000 partner visa applications, which the government is planning to increase to around 72,000 applications. Again, this is just talks. It's not finalized yet, so we can't comment much on that. But this is some kind of information we have received. So based on that, I'm saying for other category where we have seen major changes, employer sponsored program, where probably they will be increasing the seats from 44,000 numbers to somewhere around 50,000. So still there's an increase in employer sponsored visas looking at the current demand of this program. Most of the other programs will remain similar, but then there is a possibility that if they are increasing the numbers from partner visa and also employer sponsored visa, there is a possibility maybe that for skilled independent visa program 189 subclass 189, they may reduce the seats. However, we'll get to know in the new financial year or close to new financial year. Now, moving to the questions, we got good amount of questions. The first question we got from Nitesh Shah. He's saying, I wanted to ask about any recent invited or backlogs that you can share about for telecommunication occupations like telecommunication network planner, telecommunications field engineer, any invites? If yes, what's the points scenario? So honestly, these occupations are firstly eligible for 189 visa, but for 189, the last invitation round happened was in November. So no update in 189 for now. For state-sponsored visas, I have not seen much invites under such occupations because the state governments were focusing on some other occupations. Most of the state governments, I have noticed, were focusing on occupations relevant to health, construction, teaching, and uh, early childhood. So teaching, and then one more occupation group I just missed, but health, teaching, and then construction occupations. Some of the state governments have prioritized hospitality occupations, yes, cook, chefs, restaurant managers. So these occupations you have not, I mean, we have not seen much invites, and that's why you might not have even seen any updates as such. But then some state governments, they don't focus on the occupations like Tasmania. South Australia focus on occupations, but we have seen they have been inviting some of the applicants. So South Australia, Tasmania, they have been inviting people because they don't much care about the occupations, because they have a different pattern of selecting applicants. But otherwise, other states like Victoria, Western Australia, New South Wales, Queensland, they are very particular about the occupations, and that's where if you are targeting any of these state government, then I think you might not have seen invitations given to such occupations. But I will quickly go through some of the reports to see if there is any uh, information about that where they have invited such occupations. Last time when 189 invitation round happened, at that time government invited applicants with somewhere around 85 points under such occupations. So 85 and 90 points approx. So not many people are applying under such occupations, so that's good. but then I think your chances would be most likely your target should be going for waiting for 189 rotation round to happen. But again, as I was saying just now, that it seems that the government is planning to reduce the numbers for 189 visas or invitations for the upcoming year. So that could become a bit tricky if that happens. As of now, it's not final, but that could be the thing. So otherwise, in that case, we'll have to target states which are actually sponsoring such occupations. That could be Tasmania, for an example. If you go and work there in the same field, high chances that they will nominate you, but it's like time-consuming process, you know. Uh, okay, for telecommunication field engineer, what I can see, most of the applicants are having points around 65 to 80. Hardly there are people having 85 or 90 points. Even with 80 points, there are only 23 people I can see in the telecommunication field engineer. Uh, that is for 189 visa. So 189 visa means applicants applying from anywhere in Australia or overseas. So basically the competition is very less than 50 number is like too less competition in a way. Problem is they are not inviting applicants. So that's why you have not been invited as well, hopefully. It also depends on the state we have qualified. But then basically 189 round hasn't happened. And for state nomination, let me check if any state government have invited people as such. I cannot see anything recently under this occupation. Just trying to go and check in the last year. That is December 2024 or November, somewhere around that period of time. Yeah, so I can see some people were invited in December. So some people are invited, but then the states will be most likely South Australia or probably other states like Northern Territory or Tasmania, which doesn't care about your occupation. Moving to the next question. Hedi is asking, with the new rule, are the rules for international students going to be together tougher? Can we expect that counseling will get tougher as well? Look, generally for counseling, I don't think it will be tricky. It will be most likely easy because the government, as of now, they are focusing on community service occupation like social workers, community workers. Counseling is also one of such occupation group. So that's where I think the chances will be good. Also, not many students actually study counseling. It is also because once you finish the study, you are required to have 1 year of work experience for at least 20 hours per week because their occupation is assessed by VETASIS and they have a mandatory requirement to have 1 year of experience. So if you can get that 1 year of experience, then it is fine. But so many people, they doubt that probably they will get a job or not. And that's why not many people study actually this course. So your competition will be much lesser. So that is good if you are doing this study. But then you'll have to make sure that you get a job in the relevant field. Otherwise, it will become a bit trickier. I mean, trickier in terms you will not qualify for a skill assessment. If you can't qualify, then basically you cannot apply for state sponsorship because these all occupations are under short-term skilled occupation list. So you'll have to target the state sponsorship. But otherwise, when I see the number of applicants, I can hardly see applicants applying under this category. In most of the occupation, counseling occupation, like counselors not as a classified, student counselor, rehabilitation counselor, family marriage counselor, drug. In all this occupation group, I can see less than 20 people waiting in all the states. So basically, the chances are much higher considering you get the experience. So that is what you should look for. I want to pursue Masters of Civil Engineering in the year 2020-27. So if possible, I can prepare for other nation. So you, I don't know, because you mentioned you would like to study counseling or you would like to, I mean, or you have already studied that, I don't know. And you are asking about civil engineering and your question is not very clear to me. But then if you are looking at studying civil engineering, the scopes in Australia is also good for now because the government is focusing on construction occupation. So as of now, good number of construction occupations have been invited with even much more lesser points. So I think next target could be civil engineer, you know. So let's hope for the best. But then civil engineering, if you're planning to do masters, you'll qualify after some, 2 years of time at least. But I think if you're looking at masters, you might already have a bachelor's degree in civil. If it is, then that might still work out for you. Luciana is asking, can you explain if those who did the JRP and obtained both chef and cook can apply for both skills? What happens if payslip says chef, but you can get a letter from the employer stating you performed cook duties? Okay. Look, basically, when you got a skills assessment from TRA, Trust Recognition Australia, they mention that you are qualified to apply as a cook or chef. So it is up to you. You can apply under one or you can apply under two. In some cases, you can only apply under one. For an example, for Victorian state government, they says that you can have one ROI application at a time. So you can only nominate one occupation at a time. It could be chef or cook. But if you are looking at 189, for example, you can have chef application. Cook is not eligible for 189, so you can't have that. For 190 for any other state like Western Australia or South Australia, for an example, you can have multiple UIs. But again, for South Australia, they says you have to submit one ROI application. So depending on which occupation you would like to go, you will have to select accordingly. So some state governments have a limitation under how many occupations, how many applications you can lodge. So for those states, where they have a limitation to apply under any one occupation, you will have to apply under any one occupation then. But if there's no restriction, you can apply to multiple, you can apply for multiple UIs. About claiming the experience, as you may understand, when TRA have provided you the outcome, they are saying that based on your 1 year of experience, you are qualified for both occupation. That usually means that they have assessed that 1 year of experience under both cook and chef occupation. So that's fine. Duties of both occupations are very similar, but if you're doing duties of a chef, high chances that you will be able to use that experience under cook occupation without changing anything. But if you are working as a cook and if you would like to claim under chef, then that could be tricky because chef is a high level occupation. So if you are also planning menu, also looking at probably finance part of the operations, restaurant operations, then you can qualify under chef. So what matters is your duties and not the occupation title. We got clients whose positions were given as a cook, but their duties were relevant to chef, so you can consider that for both occupations as such. So that's totally fine. Usman is asking, how about Western Australian graduate accountant? Uh, okay. Look, Western Australian state government, as you have already noticed, or you already hopefully knowing that they have been giving priority under some specific occupations. And hardly you will have seen invitation rounds where they've invited accountants. Like there was a recent invitation round where they've invited accountants, but otherwise it was like most of the time they were giving priority under their occupation. So we will see the new financial year how they are framing the program, if they are still going to give priority under such occupations. If it is, then it could become trickier for you if you don't have high points, because then they are focusing on the points. So I don't think they will be doing in a way that they will be conducting invitation rounds for only those occupations. They will be inviting applicants under their occupation as well. But then might be limited invitation rounds if their priority is still some occupations like what they have been prioritizing for now. In that case, if you don't have high points, you might have to look at moving to some other state or probably targeting some other occupation by gaining some other skills. Or if you have a partner, looking at any skills assessment for your partner and looking for PR that way. Manan is asking, what is the chances for registered nurses not as well classified and registered nurse aged care in Victoria for 190, 70 points including the state? Manan, we have seen recently that Victoria state government, they were prioritizing construction and teaching occupations more than health occupations in the recent invitation rounds. But nurses should not have a problem getting an invite. Now coming to your skill set, we have seen for Victoria state government for this financial year, because they received good number of applications even from this health occupations. That's where they were very picky with occupations and then their skills, sorry, the applicants and their skills. So we have noticed that for nurses, even people who have at least 1 year of experience in nursing or people having superior English were given priority. So if you have 1 year of experience, good chances you might get it, considering the program will be very similar in the new financial year as well. Or you should focus on getting superior English if you feel it is possible for you to do that. because those people were prioritized under all the occupations, including registered nurses. So that is what you should prioritize. Otherwise, if in the new financial year also, if they are going to prioritize health occupations, then it should be fine even getting an invite with 70. Or if 189 invitation round happens and they invite good number of people under certain occupations like yours, then automatically the state will have less number of applications for your occupation. So then it might easily work out for you, you know. Harsh Modi is asking, are there any chances for 189 invitation round? Look, there is a possibility because since last 2 years, the government have been inviting people in May month, and also the last invitation round happened in November. So there has been already a few months that no invitation round has happened for 189. So that way there is a possibility, because for 189 there is no limitation on how many people they can invite in a financial year. So they can invite as many people they want, but they would also like to see if they invite so many people, then and if they have a limited quota for how many people they can grant one return visa in that year, then those applications will be delayed because they can only grant limited visas in that year. So if they invite more people, their application will get processed the next year. In next year also they have lesser seats for 189, then those people will be getting 189 in the next year, you know. So that way people will be completing that the 189 application has been taking a long time, if processing time get increased mainly because of the quota. So that's why they try to balance that and they don't invite people. So if they know internally that for 189 they will not have good number of seats for next year, because that's what we are hearing. So if it happens, there's a possibility that they will not, good possibility that they will not conduct 189 invitation round. But basically there is no indication as such that for sure it will happen or it will not happen. So we can just hope for the best. But otherwise, I can't commit much on that for now. Sai Kiran is asking if ACS has had 4 years of experience as a training period from 6 years. Can we claim that 4 years in UI in Victoria? So I could not honestly exactly understand your query, but if your query is about that you are having 6 years of experience and ACS has cut down 2 years of experience, you are left with 4 years of experience, and you would like to claim the points for that, you can certainly claim that because that's very obvious. But if your question is the other way around, that you have 6 years of experience and 4 years has been cut down by ACS, then whether you'd like to claim that 4 years experience points, then it could become tricky. It depends on what you have studied as well. If your study is major in IT, sorry, major in IT or minor in IT, there is still a possibility that we may be able to claim points for your experience, but we have to look at the situation. I mean, we have to look at your mark sheets and your ACS outcome later to advise you better. You may book an appointment. We can guide you that way. But in simple terms, uh, if your bachelor's degree is major in IT, then yes, you should be able to claim the points for your experience, even though ACS has cut down experience of 2 years or 4 years, depending on your situation. If your degree is minor in IT, then we have to see if your minor is relevant to your occupation, which you have nominated for skill assessment, then still high chances that you can still claim the points. But if it is minor in IT, but suppose that minor subjects you have done in your degree is programming and you would like to get a skill assessment as a network engineer, I mean, you got a skill assessment as a network engineer, then it could become tricky to claim that points. So we don't recommend unless it is very necessary for you to claim it. So depending on the situation, we advise you. So it's better that you consult us so that we can guide you accordingly. The F is asking, I have a 485 visa is now 2 years. Which pathway should recent graduate follow? Okay. So if you're asking in terms that should you apply for 485 visa now or you should look at some other visa options, so it all depends on your personal situation. If you're saying I would like to gain some additional qualification, additional skills, you may continue doing another qualification, because we have seen some students, they are applying for another student visa to study, for an example, master's degree. If they were here to do a bachelor's or they were here to do a master's degree, they'll probably decide to do another master's degree or master's degree by research. So it depends on your personal needs. But if it is you are not planning to study any further, you may look at either employer sponsored visa if you are qualified for that, or you may go for a 485 visa. But generally, even if you qualify for employer sponsored visas, we strongly recommend people going for a 485 visa, because whatever employer sponsored visa option you would like to go for, that option you will still have when you are holding a 485 visa. But if you're holding a 482 visa for some time, you will not qualify for 485, because for 485, you must have completed your course within 6 months. So if you have completed your course, taken 482, 6 months past, you will not be able to apply for 485 later on. So depending on the situation, we can guide you that what path you should select, because it all depends on what are your plans. You would like to settle permanently in Australia. So we'll see what have you studied, what is the scope with that study, and then based on that, we guide you. Herman is asking any chances of IT on 85 points in Western Australia. There are chances, 85 points. I don't know whether that's including the state. If it is excluding, then yes, there is a good possibility that you might get at least 491, considering good number of invitation rounds happen in the new financial year, and also considering that they're inviting IT people. Otherwise, it could become tricky if they are still prioritizing the occupations like construction, health, teaching, or and social hospitality occupations in the new financial year as well. Chirag is asking, we have a bridging visa A with no work condition. So that condition in my daughter can study in school in Australia. Yeah, work condition has nothing to do with the study. So if your child does not have any study condition, generally they don't, so then they can still study full time in Australia. Work condition is a different condition that applies to working limits, like whether you can work, you cannot work, if you can work, how many hours, but that has nothing to do with your study. For study, there is a different condition. If it is not there, it is totally fine. So Chris is asking, I have 80 points in New South Wales as a ECT. What are the chances? Because they only invited ECTs with 90 points on April for 190. Okay. Chances are good, considering that they invite more people in this financial year, because they still have good number of seats available for 190 state nomination in New South Wales. So I'm hopeful that they will be conducting another invitation round, and that round should be bigger. So that way, I'm hopeful that they should be inviting people with even 80 points. But we don't know exactly what they are planning in between, whether they would like to consume all the quota, all the seats they have or not. So that's why it is a bit tricky to say that way. But otherwise, I am very hopeful, honestly, that they should conduct another bigger invitation round, because that is the only state I feel is very lagging in terms of invitations they have given so far in this financial year. Sai is asking any chances of 180 invitation round. Yes, that we have already covered. We are, hopeful as well, not hopeful as well. But recently we have heard that the government is not planning to give much quota, much seats for 180 visa grants, and that's where I mean, I mean, I am hoping that probably they may not conduct invitation round soon, or even in the new financial year. If the numbers they are giving is much lesser, then I hardly doubt that we'll be conducting invitation round for a few moments now. Aman is asking, community worker 85 points. I'm waiting in New South Wales. Occupation is good, points are good. Just waiting for invitation round to happen. If it happens, good number of people they invite, then chances are high. But otherwise, community workers were given priority by most of the state governments. So I think that way it should be fine. Community service in New South Wales. How many people are waiting? That's what Aman is asking in New South Wales. Let me quickly go through that. Just a second. I don't think so. So many people, because under such occupation, still we haven't seen so many people studying and qualifying. So that way that is good. But let me tell you some with some numbers. So basically, until April end, I can get you the data. For May, once it is done, once the month is done, then I can tell you about May month as well. But for now, until 30th of April, so basically on 30th of April, in the system, government system, there were 90, sorry, 25 people having 90 points. You said 85 points you have. So 61 people were having 85 points. So basically, you have competition with approximately 100 people. You can say there are very few people having 95 or 100 points. Very few means it could be just one person even. You don't know. But consider approximately you have competition with 100 people for 190. And for 491, if you have 85 points, including 5 points from New South Wales state government, that means 80 points if you have by yourself, plus 15 points from the state for 491, you will be at 95. With 95, 33 people approx are waiting, plus 23 people with 100 points. So approximately 50, 60 people are waiting ahead of you. That is for New South Wales in particular, yes. That much of competition you have. For New South Wales state government, you know or not, just to clarify again for other people as well, that they prioritize people based on the points, based on how much have you scored in English, how many years of experience you have in the relevant field, and what kind of education you have. So these are the 4 factors based on which they decide whom to select. Okay. So if you can work on certain factors, if you're missing out on these things, then you can certainly work on those factors to increase your chances. Sai Naga Manoj is asking, analyst programmer having 90 points for 189, what are my chances? Okay. Look, analyst programmer, last time when the invitation round happened, at that time, people were invited with 85 points. That means all the people having 90 or higher points were invited by that period of time. But then since November, because there is no invitation round happened, then there is a possibility, good possibility that there might be people having 90, 95 or even 100 points, So I'll just quickly tell you how many people I can see are in the pool. Just a second. So for 189 visa, I can see for analyst programmer until April 2025, there were 483 people with 90 points, 163 people with 95, and 21 people with with 100 points. So when you're saying you have how many? 90 points. So basically you have competition with approximately 500, 600 people. So you are hoping if one in time big invitation not happen, then you may be invited with that many points. But otherwise it feels tricky for now because we got some indication that probably one in nine they will not be conducting good number of invitation rounds in the upcoming year as well, because the quota will be hopefully less. But again, it's just we heard, but then it's not officially out, so we can't uh, certify that that will be the situation. Lucian is asking, I already have 2 years of full-time and face-to-face studies in Western Australia, certificate 3 for diploma. Can I do advanced diploma online at Western Australia school to have priority in the graduate stream pathway? Some students obtain it through a hybrid advanced diploma, but it's not entirely clear. I'm planning to do a fast track advanced diploma, but I don't know what want to spend money if it is not going to be useful. But if you have already studied for 2 years in Western Australia, why you will study another qualification at advanced diploma, and that's online? Because their requirement is 2 years of study, So I don't know for what purpose how that is going to help you, because you are anyway qualified the graduate pathway under vocational graduate pathway stream for Western Australia. And once you qualify, then their priorities, if you're living in Western Australia, that's the first priority. Second priority for them is what's your point score. And then the third priority is when did you apply for your application. So that way, I don't see any reason for doing another advanced diploma qualification, Uh, so I don't know why, but then anything in particular, you may contact us and we can advise you accordingly. Kamal Chawla is asking, uh, by what's the waiting time for 186 direct entry, and the waiting time started from nomination lodgement or visa file date? Look, generally, if you have applied for nomination and visa, government generally they try and process both applications at the same time. But if there is a much higher gap between these two applications, then they may just process nomination first and then the visa. Processing time depends on multiple factors. On an average, standard processing time is approximately 8 to 12 months. But if your occupation is a priority occupation, like health, teaching, for example, or if your location of work is based in regional, then such applications are given priority. In that cases, application could get processed within few months, which could probably range from 1 month to even 4 or 5 months of time. Sai Kiran is asking, what are the chances for 190 with 90 points for software engineer? And will there be any rounds happening this financial year? Look, 190 chances heavily depends on the state where you are qualified. So I don't know about your state, so I can't give you much information on that. But it will totally depend on the state, because some states says if you have work experience, then you only you qualify. So if you're qualifying that way, then the chances are good, because not many people will have work experience. But if they don't have any criteria, or just the criteria is that you must be living there for 6 months, then probably you will have so many people applying for 190 state nomination. You'll have good number of competition. That way the points might not be sufficient to be invited for 190. It depends on the state as well, because it depends on how many people are applying in that state. So if it is a smaller state, 90 points might be sufficient as well. So it's very state specific. Kamal Subkota is asking, I have 85 points for 189 for ECT, not working in New South Wales, any chance? Yes, very good chances. You will have 90 points for 190 state nomination. The chances are good. 189 invitation round may not happen. Don't know for now. For 190, I'm very hopeful that they should conduct another invitation round. And someone just was saying that in April, they New South Wales state government invited people with 90 points. So that way your chances are very good, as long as they conduct another invitation round, which I am very hopeful about. Espreet is asking, what are the chances for MBA Masters in Applied Finance for PR? How to move forward with this course? Look, with finance, there are good options if you have 1 year of work experience at least. So work experience becomes a must requirement, unless you're going for occupation called a finance manager, where work experience is not a must criteria. But finance managers are listed under short-term skilled occupation list. That means you have to either look for employer-sponsored visa to get PR, or you will have to apply for state sponsorship. And for state sponsorship, not many states are offering state sponsorships easily under finance manager occupation, because it's something similar to accountant as well. So basically, if you're targeting a state which is not very competitive, like Tasmania, Northern Territory, then chances might be good even for probably regional options. If you're looking at 491 regional Victoria, regional New South Wales could still be a good option, So depending on where you are qualified, you may look at it. Other occupations are finance brokers, financial investment advisors, which requires at least 1 year of experience to qualify. Victoria state government have invited people under such occupations. It also depends on which state you have qualified, so we can guide you accordingly. So if you can consult us, we can advise you based on your situation. Namit Jayanta is asking, civil engineering technician 70 points, Victoria 190. What are the chances? Look, honestly, we have not seen Victorian state government inviting so many civil engineering technicians, or probably hardly you will see some invites given by the state government. So basically, I think you'll have to target some other state, such as Western Australia, which is better, or probably you target 4914 Victoria. That could be another option. But then Victoria 190 seems a bit tricky. Nidhi is asking, software tester 90 points, Victoria 190. For the chances? Chances are good, but this year is done. The seats what they got for 190 are already consumed. So basically, we'll have to wait for new financial year. In new financial year, how the program will be targeted, we don't know for now. If it is the same, I think the chances are still good. But then Victorian state government, they don't target people based on the points. They have different factors based on which they target, based on which they invite people, such as how much you are earning in Victoria, whether your partner is skilled, whether you have a superior English, how many years of experience you have, whether you're working in the relevant field. These are just some of the main factors we have noticed based on which they have been inviting. Other factors are your age, your education, your occupation skill level, which is anyway skill level 1, so that's fine. But the topmost, the five factors, what I have talked about, that are the like higher priority for them based on that they decide. Salary more than $100,000 if you're earning, then those people are given priority. Second factor was partners, skilled partner. If your partner is skilled, having a skill assessment 6 each, then priority. English, if you have superior English, which is 8 bets in each, superior English, then you get a priority. Experience at least 1 year in Australia or overseas, 3 years at least, then it's a priority. But if you have more, then it's extra priority. If you're working in the relevant field, extra priority. So that based on these factors, they select people. But again, we have to see in the new financial year how they are going to target. So that way you will have a better idea. Navya Roy is asking, my occupation is chartered accountant, points are 75, 189, for 189 and 80 for 190. Can you please tell the chances? Chances for 189 is next to null. to be honest. Sorry, unfortunately. But then for 190, yes, you might have chances. It all depends on the state where you are qualified. If you're a chartered accountant, I think you should be able to find job easily, but you should target a state where they actually value accountants and where they will actually value people working in the relevant field. So if you target such states, then your chances should be high, like Northern Territory, Regional Victoria, Regional New South Wales, Tasmania, for an example. Then I think the chances will be better. For Regional Victoria, Regional New South Wales, it's 491 that they can offer, but other states, they may still offer you 190, but then you might have to wait longer to qualify. Otherwise, you should end up getting 491. You should be happy with that. Or ask your employer to sponsor you if you have good years of experience. So you may qualify straight away for permanent residency if you already have 3 years full-time experience, or depending on your experience, we can guide you that way. But I think employer-sponsored visa could be a better option in that terms. Luciana Rico is asking, because when you look at how Western Australia migration ranks applicants within the graduate stream, they give preference to advanced diploma over the diploma. This is stated on the website. Okay, yes, correct. Okay. So let me get back to your question again. Some students obtain it through hybrid advanced diploma, but it's not entirely clear. I'm planning to do a fast track advanced diploma, but I don't want to spend money if it is not going to help. Okay. Hybrid advanced diploma, I don't know what do you mean by hybrid, but generally speaking, if you are studying in Western Australian institution, then usually it is fine. I haven't seen them checking whether you have studied hybrid in terms you did fast track or what, but basically they would like to see whether you have studied in Western Australia. So that's what actually matters. Um, but again, you may contact us and we can guide you through your personal profile and advise you what you should do about whether you should get admission in that course or what. Last question we'll be taking for the day, that is from VVK Tamu. Please advise the best course to do during TR for PR, please. Look, there are so many courses. It all depends on your interest. It all depends on what you can do, possibly, because there are some occupations like trade, for example, trade, construction occupations in trade industry. But then if you cannot work because there's a requirement that you have to work compulsory for 1 year full time, if you are saying I cannot work in those industries, then that option is better in terms of PR, but you may not be able to do. So we look at your interest, we look at what is possible for you, what you can do, what you would like to do, where you can find a job in the relevant field. Because for some occupation, job is a must. For some occupation, job is not required. So based on your capacity, based on your interest, we advise students that what you should do. But we can offer you a free consultation, and then you can go from there, which course you should do to help you to get permanent residency. Uh, Thank you, everyone. I have tried to answer all the questions, but if you still have any questions, you can reach out to any of our nearby office, or you can comment on the pages, and we will still go through the pages and respond to other remaining queries. Thank you for sending us the queries, and we wish you a good weekend. Thank you.